Manhattan Beach, located executive coach, working with businesses, doing some amazing things across the country. I just love my discussion. I know you're going to grab some takeaways from this. I certainly did. Let's go check it out. Hi, everybody. Thanks for jumping on Giant TV. I'm Paul Hitchcock, the founder and president of Giant Jacks Media. We help others to grow and nurture their businesses. Actually, this is our headquarters office in Orange County, California, near Disneyland. And really excited for my guest here today, Alina. Welcome, Alina.
Thank you, Paul. Nice to be here.
Yeah, and you and I were talking offline because I've got your LinkedIn profile up, and you've got a ton of things going on. I don't know how you get it all done. And I'd love, I have many questions, but I want to start with you and tell us, what are you focused on? What are you doing?
Okay, so right now, I'm focused on wellness and mindset, which is something I've been, focused on since 2008, to be honest with you. But I have been in the medical field for 33 years, and I kind of didn't want to do anything in that arena, but everything keeps bringing me back. So this is what I'm saying right now. I'm doing wellness. And so I am a leadership coach, a disc trainer. I have tons of stuff. Yeah. But one of the things that has me and has always had me very enthusiastic and happy about is just teaching entrepreneurs and professionals how to bring wellness into their everyday living. Because that's something.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, when you say wellness, physical and mental?
Yes, and emotional. That is something that I struggle with for years, and I didn't even know I was struggling with it until, I started seeking, reaching out for help and getting coaches and all that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so tell me about who you working with. Are they businesses? Are they the owners of the business, the teams? And when you talk about wellness, health, emotion, how are you going into a company and what are you doing with them?
Right. So I actually had been working since 2017 with law enforcement in the state of California. I'm a provider.
Yeah.
So teaching them more communication skills, more how to really be able to communicate with the community that they serve. And also in-house, de-escalating. And so I started teaching them wellness in 2019. And now I notice that it's something that is mandatory. Back then they would call me the woo-woo girl, but now they're even having an in-house wellness coach. Mm-hmm. And that's one, leg of the business. The other one is with entrepreneurs. And one thing I realized in the past 13 years that I've had this business is that if we come in and teach, let's say, the executives and not teach their team or vice versa, it doesn't work because they don't know how to communicate with one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the things that we realized after many, many interviews is that we have to train both, not only the executives, the managers, and their team.
Training on health and wellness?
Health and wellness, how to incorporate it, communication skills. I do a DISC assessment, and then we talk about the difference between all the personalities. What does wellness really mean? Self-care. It doesn't mean wellness, go out there and run every day, because if you're at a certain age, running is not good for you. But, what about emotional wellness? Mm-hmm. What about meditating, breathing techniques, body scanning, emotional freedom techniques? I do it all. And I do it all for myself as well.
Yeah. Well, as you're talking, it's interesting because is this a fair statement that that if you're not focused on health, wellness, your emotional well-being, that absolutely impacts your job performance, and at all levels. And so do you see that where this becomes the fabric of what a company's doing and you're in there, that it lifts the whole company up?
Absolutely. And what really made me see it more and think about it even more is not really during COVID, but post-COVID, we were just not used to, for some reason, we got 2 years under our belt with COVID and,
Right.
getting it over with, that we have deprogrammed ourselves on what it is to really get along with people and what it is
Oh,
to really have self love,
yeah.
so that's one of the things that I noticed the most. And absolutely, if I don't want to say the head, but if the CEO is not in alignment with themselves, everything goes downhill.
Yeah.
One thing we've noticed is when the CEO is overly stressed, sometimes, they turn to drug and alcohol addiction. And how is that really working for the rest of the team?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I like the saying a fish rots from the head down, right? The CEOs, yeah, no good. Everything's affected.
right.
I noticed something as I was looking at your stuff too, is you had a comment there, quote, what you think is what you are.
Yes.
I love that. I love that.
Oh, thank you. Look at me. I'm
Yeah.
a poet.
Well, many things, also a poet. That was awesome. And as you're talking about these things, health, wellness, especially the emotional part, and you're going in and talking to leaders, I mean, that's not always a strictly business topic. Do you encounter any resistance, or are people actually opening up and being vulnerable and talking about that stuff?
So post COVID, it was almost like very taboo. So
Yeah,
it's always, I didn't ask you to come here to ask me personal questions. I asked you
yeah,
to come here to work with me and my team. How do we communicate well? But it's everything comes from what you're doing in your personal space.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, and we all know now that there's a lot of research being done. Everything stemmed from childhood. So, and crazy enough, when we started our business, I started as a drug and alcohol counselor. And I had doctors, lawyers, CEOs of big, big, big corporations, and everybody was dealing with addiction. But that's because it becomes so overwhelming that if
Yeah.
you don't take a step back and breathe, we're just go, 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 because we're always thinking about the bottom line. But what good is the bottom line if you're not able to enjoy it? One of the things that I have been saying lately is my health is my wealth, because
Ah,
I have had, trust me, I speak from experience. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, but that was because of the stress that I was living in for like 26 years.
mm-hmm.
And not ever, I would just go, 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 go until
Yeah,
my body says enough is enough. And
yeah,
that's
stop.
really, yeah, that was the awakening moment for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, which probably is why you're so passionate about what you're
Yeah.
doing, because you've been through it and conquered it,
Yeah.
moving beyond it. Um, the communication part of what you're focused on is fascinating to me because I think empathic listening, communication, conversation is in a large way dead today. People seem to be talking at each other, you know, uh, and effective communication is hard to achieve. And so what are the tools? What are some of the tidbits you can offer of that are centered around effective communication? How do you communicate properly and listen properly?
So talk less, listen more. That's number one, really,
There,
to me.
shut this, open this up, right? Yeah,
Right. Because if
yeah.
you're talking, you're not listening. And I used to believe that I was a great multitasker, but those two really, you cannot multitask those two.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of them. The other one is we really need to have empathy for the person that we have in front of us.
What does that mean? What describe how
Empathy
you do that? Yeah,
means, put yourself in their place, put
yeah.
yourself in their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what they're going through. And so if they're talking and we're snapping at them or we're talking back, we're really never giving them a chance to express themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm huge on empathy, especially in healthcare. That was a big part of my daily living, because I always thought the minute a patient came in, the door, I always thought, when they're here in the doctor's office, is because something is going on with them. It's not
Yeah.
because they want to come in and say hi to me like the pharmaceutical reps. So that was one of the things that I have always been very empathetic to my patients and clients. And
Hmm.
that's a big, big thing for me. You don't know what they're going through. And something that I've learned in NLP and also in hypnosis is that even if you think that what they're saying is 10% true, that's 10%,
Yep. Yep.
versus saying, oh no, what you're saying is not true. I don't believe anything you're saying. No, just give them that wiggle. I call it the wiggles room, for the 10%. I call it
Yeah.
the 10% rule. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great stuff. And it's interesting because I was just talking to somebody yesterday, business discussion, first discussion, and it was frustrating, Alina, because they, their listening was horrible. I mean, I would be talking, they jump in, cut me off before I finish the point, and then never ask me one question about my end of things. It was
Mm,
all I'd say something, then they'd say, "Oh yeah, well me too," and then go into their thing. It was just a crappy conversation. And this gets into what you're talking about. It's not listening with empathy or putting yourself in their shoes or listening really at all. I see that
right.
a lot. I see that a lot.
And so right now, what I'm seeing a lot is that people think like their story or their pitch or their business or whatever they're trying to sell you is so much more important than
Yep.
you.
Yep.
This
Yep.
is like marketing 101. Listen
Yep.
first and
Yep.
then, jump in. But no, people don't look at that. As a matter of fact, let me give you a quick example. I was just at an event up in Sacramento. I just had ankle surgery. I'm on a scooter, right?
Right now you're on a scooter?
Yes,
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
yes. So I'm on a scooter and I just couldn't do it anymore. Like I couldn't pedal anymore with one leg. And I sit down just to drink some water. This
Mhm.
lady came and just bombarded me. She saw the scooter, she saw the boots, she saw the water, she saw that I was leaning against the wall. Not once did she say, "Hi, can I sit with you?" Or even better, "Is it okay if I sit with you?"
Yeah. Yeah. Of
It's not that you're being submissive, but you're kind of asking for permission. You're coming into
course.
my space.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I kid you not, for about half an hour, she was just going, 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 trying to sell me something. And I kept saying, "I'm so tired. I'm so
Uh,
tired of pedaling." And she wasn't getting it.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there for sure. Well, when you're working with businesses, what does that look like with your initial interaction? Are you sitting down with them? Are there, team meetings? Like what does it actually look like when you start working with someone?
First of all, I love entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have been a business coach for years.
Hmm.
So the first thing I do, I always find out what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you want to get out of us working together? And what I love to hear the most is when they say, my team members, my staff, everything is everybody else but you. And I am looking that really the problem stems from the top.
Oh, right.
But of
Yep. Yep.
course,
Yep. Yeah.
you can't say that. So then I do have them do like a questionnaire, just asking them just questions to help me see what the big picture. I
Hmm.
also do the disc analysis because I absolutely love it because that gives me firsthand on what your personality type is like.
Yeah.
And then that way I know how to address you. And then also why that's a big reason why you and your team are having discord. So I love doing that. And then we talk about the emotional part. Sometimes they want to work with me because they want to sell a business or they want to get rid of a staff member, but they have grown attached to them. So there's a lot of reasons why they would want to work with me. And then if it's just more of themselves, hypnosis is great for to work with stress, actually addiction. If you want to be able to stop doing something, like I hypnotize myself against sodas, chocolate cake, vanilla cake. I'm working on lemon and carrot, but I love lemon and carrot.
Oh man, I need your help with cookies. Please,
Oh,
offline we'll talk.
yes.
Wow, hypnosis, interesting. And so you're doing an onboarding process with entrepreneurs and then tailoring the execution of how you're helping and how it plays out. Is that?
Absolutely, because I mean, there's no two people that are alike, and there's no two businesses or situations that are, are alike. So I like to tailor each approach differently depending on who I'm working with and what is it that they're, working on.
I love it. I love it. I got to ask you, you're in Manhattan Beach.
I am.
Oh, I'm a SoCal guy. Are you from there or?
Well, no, originally I'm from Cuba. And
Ah,
right, we came from Cuba and we lived here in LA, South Bay area all of our lives. So we've never been anyplace else. I wanted to move far and I moved to Lakewood. And if you know the South Bay,
I do. I do. I
that's
know where
not
that is.
far.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And family. So you still have family there around there?
I do. I have family there that we were able to reconnect after many, many years of not seeing or knowing about each other on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I went back in 2017 and then again in 2017 was my first time going back to Cuba since I left.
Oh,
And when I left, I
wow.
was 8.
Wow.
But yeah, that was 20 years ago, give or take a
Yeah.
couple of numbers.
Yeah. Just yesterday. Yesterday. No, that's wonderful. Well, and then as we hit sort of the barrier on time here, I want to ask you who is your ideal sort of niche of company or person you want to work with? Do you have that? I know law enforcement, you did that. That's great. Anything else?
I really have a passion for healthcare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been there, done that for many years, so I know that culture very well. Entrepreneurs also, because I do want to, I see that we need so much help. Entrepreneurship is a lonely road,
Lonely.
if you know.
Lonely. Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things. I love entrepreneurship,
Any niche,
and
any industry.
yeah, I've worked with all of them, just
Yeah. Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
except pest control. Yes, any of
Oh,
them.
and across the country, Alina, your clients national.
Actually, I was international before COVID. Yeah, I
Hmm.
have done speaking engagement in London, in Canada, training. I'm able to work with them now. It's more acceptable because of Zoom. Now
Yeah.
everybody's really into this.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Love it. Love it. Well, I could talk forever about this. It's great stuff. I want to say thanks everybody for listening. I also want to alert you that wherever you're watching this, because we stream this on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and everywhere, Alina's information is going to be around this video. Maybe it's up here,
Thank
down
you.
here. Get connected with her for sure. I've been looking at your content, Alina, the
Thank
stuff you're
you.
putting out. It's great. And then, yeah, if you want to get, chat with her, her information will be around here. Alina, I know we'll be talking again. Really appreciate you doing this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, Paul.
Absolutely.